Hello, I'm Tom Harmer, your town manager. Welcome to this edition of Talk of the Town. Here we are today, we're on the north end of Longboat Key at the Broadway beach access point, and we're going to provide an update for you today on the status of our beach nourishment projects. We've been working since April, island-wide, on bringing sand in as part of this cycle for the town's nourishment efforts. And so a lot of progress has been made. We're actually working on the last piece of the project that needs to be finished up before we can close this out. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking to our project manager, Charlie Mopps, to talk about the status of the project and what we see as next steps. Charlie.
How's it going, Tom?
Good, how are you?
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you. Always good to get out on the beach here on Longboat Key.
Absolutely.
So you've been busy, I know, since at least April, but well before that.
Right.
We talked before, months and months ago, about the kickoff of the project and all the things that were going to happen. Can you, for our viewers, provide a quick summary of the overall project? What have we been working on here on Longboat Key?
Right. There was 5 major elements of this project. One of them was actually the beach itself and growing that in different segments. We had segment 2, which was the middle of the key segment. Segment 3, which really kicked off the project as far as beach fill was concerned. And then we had segment 4, which was the Gulfside Road area, and that's where control came in at the tail end of the Manatee County dredge project, and we were able to fill some of that South Whitney Beach area. And then at that time, they were supposed to leave, but then they got delayed, and we were able to extend them to go down to New Pass, dredge New Pass, and put 200,000 cubic yards more material on the very southern end of the island. While that was all going on, we had the 5 rock groins being constructed, which we'll see in just a minute. And this being segment 1 was the final segment that we had to construct. And so right now we're at the very end of the project, and we just have this portion to do.
And well, congratulations. It's really interesting from my view to think about all the moving parts here. We took sand out of Longboat Pass, we took sand out of New Pass, which we have agreements with the city of Sarasota in New Pass. We have an agreement with Manatee County on Longboat Pass. Correct. But then we also been dredging from Passage Key. Correct. And we constructed 5 rock groins. Probably a 2 to 3 year project that we're finishing up in months.
That's a great point, Tom, because in reality, the way this was broken down originally was a 3-year project. Year 1 was only supposed to be the mid-key nourishment. Year 2 was supposed to, Year 1 was supposed to be segment 1 with the 5 groins and the backfill. Year 2 was supposed to be the mid-key hotspot nourishment. And then year 3 was supposed to be New Pass and Longboat Pass dredging. Instead, because we got such economy of scale and we had contractors willing and wanting to work for us at great cost savings, we combined all those projects together into just this year's budget.
So good. So really accelerated all the projects. The stars aligned well. Great project management. What about from a budget standpoint? Where does this project fit in overall?
Overall, this project, if you look, the last time we did a major project, which was in 2016, we did both passes, and then we did truck haul. And when you averaged out those costs, it came into like around $40 per cubic yard. Here now we're 5 years later, so even though you would factor in inflation, we're getting this for around $30-something per cubic yard.
Very good, congratulations. So we're really at the tail end of this nourishment cycle, the current projects. What work is going on right now?
Well, right now, like you mentioned before, the total project was like 1 million cubic yards. And so far, we've placed over 800,000 cubic yards. This is the end. This is the last 200,000 cubic yards that we're going to be placing. And it's just to fill in and around the groin field, the newly constructed 5 groins that we just placed. And so now once we backfill all those, it locks everything in place. The beach gets held for a lot longer period of time, because as you know, this was our most erosional spot on the entire island.
So I've heard a lot of positive feedback as the town manager about the quality of the sand.
Right.
And so for this last effort, where is this sand coming from?
This is coming from Passage Key. So this is the same sand that I dove at to bring to the commission to get them to approve the quality and the quantity, as obviously. But it's really the quality. You got this nice pearly white sand. After a couple of days, it bleaches perfect. It's got really just a lot of nice fines. It's very soft. It's really good sand.
So the groins are in. We've worked to construct 5 rock groins, 2 on the south side of the existing groins, and 3 on the north side. They're complete now?
Yeah, let's take a walk and we'll actually see the work that's going on in and around the southernmost groin, which is S1.
Well, it's really an interesting process for me when you look at it. We do this every 5 to 8 years, but so here we are. We can see a lot of things going on. Can you describe for us what we have here?
Okay, so what we have here is, you can see this groin right here is S1, so it's the southernmost groin. So we're building the beach in this area to that groin and then past that groin. And so you can see how much elevated we are compared to everything else that you know, the original beach back there where the bulldozers are. You can see how much lower that is. This is the elevation per template that we're trying to achieve, and this is what offers that storm surge protection.
Okay.
So
let me ask you a question. So that box where the sand and the water is coming out, what's the purpose of that box?
that box is it's basically a filter box. So if you have any undesirable stuff coming out of the pipe, like rocks and stuff like that, it gets captured in the box and held in the box. So that way you only get the nice fine sand out here. And then you can see in the background, that's a scull barge with a tug, and that's loaded, and it's going to that piece of equipment over there, which happens to be the offloader, and that's actually hydrating that sand and pushing it back through here, through this box.
So how long will this operation take? How long will they be out here with the dredge and the pumping?
Only about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Because remember, we have about 200,000 cubic yards left to do. When they were doing Mid Key and South Key, they were averaging over 20,000 cubic yards a day. And so if we just do the rough math, we have a much shorter haul distance. But if you just keep that average of 20,000 cubic yards a day, bearing any weather, we've got about 10 to 14 days worth of work and we're done.
Okay, and so we talked about the 5 groins. We can see 2 of the rock groins here. Then you're going to have the 2 existing groins and then the 3 northern groins that have been put in. So this sand effort is going to go all the way around past the 5 groins.
That is correct, and it goes out to where the T head, where the T head is. So the beach will go all the way out to that point, and then it will go at a 15-to-1 slope from the T head.
I think that's important because I think people will be surprised when they see the amount of beach once they're finished. Now, over time, sand moves around.
It does.
We understand that, but there's going to be a significant amount of placement of sand going all the way around the corner to portions of Greer Island.
That is correct. Yeah, it's going to go north and east of the northernmost groin, which is N3, and so that's going to help tie in that section. And you bring up a great point. Now we're talking about Greer Island. Now you also say that it's going to hold in place for a period of time, but we have also in the future we have the Greer Island Spit Management Plan. Right now we're in permitting. We already got our FDOT permits, but we're working on our Army Corps and our FDEP permits. So what that sand is dedicated for is to keep this groin field filled the way we want it to, and to kind of address any type of erosional scar that might be happening to the northeast of the northernmost groin.
That's important. I think we've talked about this before. This portion of the island is one of the most erosional portions of the island for several reasons, but you have the pass right here as well.
Correct.
And so we tend to lose sand into the pass and around, and it creates what you were talking about, that spit that kind of goes around to that Land's End area. And you recently opened up a small amount of that entryway into the lagoon to removing a small portion of the spit, but you're now working on a more permanent solution, which will be a spit management plan.
That is correct. And that spit management plan will essentially return the way that spit looks back to the 2006 condition.
Okay.
So, that spit it's grown to the east side of the bridge. It didn't exist back in 2006. So we're going to try to utilize that sand to make to basically maintain our groin field and maintain any other erosional hotspots.
And really putting it back where it came from
That is
for the
correct.
most part. So, Charlie, we moved a little bit, and you can kind of see behind us really a good sense for the public how the sand is being placed and what it's going to mean to the beach overall.
Right.
I'm just curious, from the public accessing the beach in this area over the next couple weeks, how are you managing that?
Well, that's a great question, Tom. Basically for the Broadway access, anybody who comes on the beach right now can still head south. It's still open, and people can head south. You just, obviously we want to keep people outside of the construction zone because of safety. And so as we start moving up, when we get to about the area where we're heading North Shore, is when we'll probably have to shut down the North Shore beach access for just maybe about a week to allow that construction zone to go much further north.
Okay.
Once it goes north of that existing concrete pag, that's the northernmost, and a pag is the concrete pier that goes out. Once we're north of that location, we might be able to open that up partially.
Good, good. So as we think about the 5 groins and Greer Island, one of the things that came up last time was the driftwood. There's some natural areas on a portion of Greer Island, and there was some question about what would it look like when we're done. And we talked about all the sand going out to the end of the groins. What's going to be left there from that natural look?
Well, there is just north and then obviously to the east of the northernmost groin, there is still a big natural section with a bunch of driftwood in it that will not be part of the project and will not be touched. But what we also did was we stockpiled some good, desirable pieces of driftwood, and we're going to stage that stuff once the beach is completely built on the top of the northernmost groin to the landward side, because that will still allow us to till in and around. It doesn't take away from the turtle habitat because the turtles won't be laying eggs inside of a groin field. Or inside the rock. So we're going to stage that material so that way there's still photo opportunities up in that location.
Okay, very good. So we've talked about the spit management plan. That's not part of this cycle that'll end in September. That's future work. There's one other project I think that you still have to do, not this year, but as we look out over the next year on the very south end.
Correct. So we did segment 5, which was the very southern segment. And there's a groin down by, it's the New Pass groin. And that New Pass groin has been there for a very long time and it hasn't been maintained. So it's not holding back the amount of sand that would be desirable by the town. So right now our coastal engineers are looking at ways of permitting a maintenance project to maintain that groin just by adding some more stone strategically where it's needed in order to still allow it to be a little bit leaky, but not as leaky as it is now. Once that is done, we're hoping to, get that done over this winter. We'll regrade the beach at that location in order to tie it in and make it look a lot better and function a lot better.
Okay, well, very good. Well, congratulations. Very successful recycling or renourishment effort. Not complete quite yet, but as we look out over the next few weeks, we'll be wrapping all of this up. So good job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And then I want to just thank our viewers and our residents for their patience and understanding during this renourishment cycle. And I hope this information that we present to you today provides some background to help explain how this whole project has worked. Thank you for joining us.